So other planning tools and techniques, we are speaking about this. So situation analysis and pest analysis. Okay, we are speaking about situation analysis and pest analysis. Yeah. So we are speaking about other planning tools and techniques. So we already have discussed what is planning. Okay, thinking before doing anything is called planning. And like some of the tools, and that means we need to follow certain guidelines, or we need to make certain considerations in our planning process to make that planning a full-fledged successful plan. Okay, so we cannot leave any leaf unturned, we cannot leave any factors while we plan. We have to consider almost all those factors which are critical factors and which are to be included in a plan. Okay, so for that we have situation analysis and pest analysis. Situation analysis is a systematic collection, it's a systematic collection and evaluation of external and internal forces that can affect the organization's performance and choice of strategies, and assessing the organization's current and future strengths, weakness, opportunities and threats. That is what. So situation is nothing but you see what situations a organization can face, what kind of problems an organization can face. That is what we are discussing about. So when you want to see what kind of situations your organization can face, okay, okay, and how those situations are going to impact the organization, if you want to check or if you want to see that, then you have to do the situation analysis. Okay, so what is this situation analysis? Situation analysis is a systematic collection and evaluation of some particular forces which are external as well as internal, and that can have an impact on the organization. Okay, and that can impact the organization's performance. Okay, and then seeing the impact of those factors on the organization, we again see what can we do to reduce the adverse impact of various factors on our organization. Okay, so for that we need to do first SWOT, that is nothing but strength, weakness, opportunities and threats, and then step 2, 3 and 4 of the strategic planning process outlined in this book. So like we have already discussed about them, 2, 3 and 4. Step 2, 3 and 4. So analyzing the external environment, this was the second step. This is the second step of the 5 steps in the strategic planning process. So second step is analyzing the external environment. Then step 3 already we have discussed, formulating strategies, that is SWOT analysis. And step 5, developing and implementing the chosen strategies. So then what we are discussing here is steps 2, 3 and 4 of the strategic planning process, that is the analyzing the environment, then making the strategies, and then implementing whatever these 3 steps we have seen outlined in this book, that is analyzing the organization's external and internal environment and formulating and selecting strategies to optimize the organization's strength and correct for its weakness and limitations to take advantages of opportunities while countering threats. So SWOT analysis is what is a type of situation analysis. So in SWOT analysis, what we do, we see what is our strength, we see what is our weakness, we see what kind of opportunities we can get and we can grab, and then what kind of threats our organization face and how we can overcome those threats. Okay, that is what we are going to see. Now, pest analysis is then again another type of situation analysis. So pest analysis is nothing but you see the political factors, you see the economic factors, you see the social factors, and you see the technological factors. In pest analysis, you see all those factors. Okay, because suppose if I want to start my company, and I want to start my company in a country, like I'm just taking this country's name purposefully, North Korea. So what is your opinion about this country? What is your opinion about this country? Do you want to open or start a company here? Or again, I'm giving you one more option. You want to start a company here or here? Yes, Zarina, what is your answer? Do you want to start a company here, or you'd opt for these two countries? What do you say? See, let's be clear, like about our option. It's nothing to do like if I choose India, if I don't choose India. No, that's nothing to do with that. It's a practical question. Which country you want to take for investment? Please tell me. It can be any country. Hello, Zarina, are you following?
We can go with Vietnam because our currency is more now there.
Yeah, we can opt for that. But like the thing is, you have spoken about one of the factors, which is economic factors. That's a good thing. Indian rupee has a high value in Vietnam because they
Thank you,
have to
Adi.
shell out 300 Vietnamese dongs or something. I don't know the latest exchange rate to buy one Indian rupee. Okay, but there is a parity. When you buy a burger in India or you buy in Vietnam, if you buy a burger in India for let's say 10 rupees, the same 3000 dongs you have to pay for that in Vietnam. So that doesn't matter. But okay, you have raised one point. That's good. So see, I would take a country here which is good in all these particular factors. Like let's say political factors. I would see political stability. So North Korea is ruled by a dictator, okay, who is a communist dictator, and the country is always in like when there's a dictatorship, there's no freedom of speech, freedom of expression, or any kind of freedom. You have to go down to the dictator. That's it. What he says, what he decides, what he like, whatever he says is what is that the entire nation has to follow. Seeing this scenario, India and Vietnam are good options, but Vietnam is again it was a communist regime. They are slowly, steadily transforming because they have made their policies a lot liberal. India is it's the largest democracy in the world, so political factors go with India and Vietnam. So let's see what the political factors. Political factors involve the way a government of a country behaves. So if if the government is very strong, that means if they in India, like in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, we have two houses, and in India, like the BJP government is very strong because they have a lot of representatives in the Lok Sabha, and they can make rules and regulations, and there's there's very less people to come, very less few number of few number of member of parliaments who can oppose them, or because there's no strength in the opposition, like no numbers. So political factors involve the way a government of a country behaves. Political factors are outside the control of a business, so the business must understand how political changes can affect it. Some political factors that should be considered are this, like trade regulations. See what are the regulations in a country, how the government is, like whether they are liberal government or they are very strict in their activities. Then the pricing regulations, like what are they doing to regulate the prices in a country. Suppose if your company has to sell some product in India, and that particular product is like you know it's a necessity for many people, and the cost is really going very high. So whether they are keeping a cap on this product, so that's the maximum price your company should quote for our citizens or something like that, such kind of regulations are they keeping, you have to see. And the tariffs, and taxes, about we are speaking about taxes. So India is the country whereby the corporate tax is the least in Asia, so that is attracting many foreign investors to come to India. Then wage legislation, whether there are like some minimum wage requirements. Yes, in India 15,000 is the minimum wage requirement. So like since like a government has to look for the citizens. In China, what as far as I know, I don't think there were any rules, but now since the countries are developing, so developing nations put a cap. They make minimum wage requirements a necessity. That minimum wage, this much minimum wage has to be paid to the citizen. But in some countries there is no such rule. Why? Because generating employment is a big challenge for them. So how come they can put all these rules on the companies? So political stability should be there. Instability is not good for a country. And product labeling requirements that must be adhered to, and industrial health and safety regulations are also a matter of concern. So you should see all these things, how like whether the industry, whatever company, whatever are operating in a country, are they safe. Economic factors include exchange rates, inflation rates. Good, you raised the good question. Interest rates and economic growth or contraction and effects they have on a business. So I speak about GDP, GNP. If a country's GDP is good, if there is good amount of growth in a country, if countries skill levels of the workforce are going good, and the cost of labor is somewhat cheaper, it seems that all these factors, see, a good skilled workforce would do less blunders, and the cost of labor is less, that would add up to a higher profit in your, or that can create good margins for you. Unemployment rate within the market, because if unemployment rate is high, excuse me, Yeah. So like the unemployment rate within the market, because if unemployment is high, demand will be depressed. Yes, if like in a country there is a lot of unemployment, then you would not like to go to such country. See, it's not like you get cheap labor, but there are circumstances whereby, suppose if I take UK, UK unemployment rate may be high. That means, first of all, UK is such a country whereby there's lot of, it's very costly. The inflation is so high, and setting up a factory over there is not that cheaper. And again, unemployment rate of UK, let's say there may be some points to consider. We want some skill set. Suppose we want all the software engineers. It may be like we may not get those many software engineers in a particular country. And not at a cheaper rate. That's the reason why you see many countries, they want to open their campuses in India, whereby they get a lot of software engineers and at cheaper rates. So unemployment, there are a lot of types of unemployment. I will not go into detail. Like there's uh, you know uh, voluntary unemployment. A lot of unemployment kinds. Okay, so frictional unemployment. But the thing is, if unemployment is very much, that country is like, maybe there are some people who purposely don't want to work. Maybe some people are ready to work, but there are no jobs. So all unevenness is not good. Okay, so demand would be less. The stage in business cycle the country is in. If the country is a growing nation, that is good for your company to sell their products. The economic system in the countries where business operates, any intervention by government in the market. So this is what the businesses don't want. They don't want the governments to interfere in the in any kind of in any kind of their decision making or any kind of activities. They want the government to be just away from their business. Okay, less scrutiny and all those things they require. They want a liberal government. Social factors refer to culture in a country. See, culture is a very important thing. Okay, the population growth rate, average age of the population, and the age distribution. They see many companies want youth to work in their organization, because youth would be more hungry for earnings, and more motivated, more enthusiastic, and they want to they will be more ambitions in youth, isn't it so? And social trends can have a great effect on demand for a business products and services. Other social considerations include demography. Demography means population. Demographies can be used to see where in the country people live and work. Yeah, they see much more concentration of population is in which area, and where they can get a talent pool, and what is the attitude of the population towards the environment. And lot of population, they are environment friendly also. If you want to set up a factory, lot of protest agitations, all these things. See, environment friendly everyone should be. That's the reason why sustainable growth terminology has come into picture. Leisure interest of the population, what they want, like whenever they are in free time, what they do. Then technological factors. Good technology is what we want to see, and a country which is technologically advanced and using critical technologies in all their activities is the one which is an indication that the country has a lot of potential for future growth. And that creates new employment also. When computers came, people were worried that we will lose the bankers and all this. They thought that they'll be losing a lot of jobs, but a lot of jobs have been created because of this. So updation is what is required. So technology can have a good and bad both the impacts, but we'll take the good impacts actually. Then competitive analysis. So SWOT analysis is what it does. So strength and weakness of the competitors you have to see. You have to see the demographics and the needs of the market in which the business operates. Strategies to improve the company's position in the marketplace. What kind of strategy you can make, and some improvements in that can be done, so that it can have good it can improve the company's position in the marketplace. Impediments to companies entering new markets. That means many of the businesses are worried, like if new entrants enter into the market, so that's a threat. but that is also a factor to be considered. And barriers the company can erect to limit competitors' ability to erode the company's place in the market. So if there are a lot of barriers which is not allowing you to freely operate, that can put a brake on your like advancement, and it is not good for the business. Then competitive analysis includes defining the competitors. So who are your competitors in actuality? You should pick and you should understand. Then you should see what is the strength and weakness of your competitors. Then what are your internal strengths and weaknesses, and you should see the customer needs and wants. Then studying impediments to the market for both the company and its competitors, such as patents, high startup costs. So you should see the impediments to the market for both the company and its competitors. So like closely, all these factors should be matched without failure. Okay, these are the crucial and critical factors to be seen. So next point, you should see developing. So you should see the obstacles and hindrances. So these are nothing but the impediments. So you should see what are the factors which are like a hindrance or obstacle for your company from your competitors side, such as like, are you lacking some patents? Is the startup cost very high? Telangana government has taken a very good initiative of T Hub, whereby they are providing an incubation center for all the startups. That means they'll be whether whatever charges are there, they'll be charging very less. They want the startups to come up, and developing a strategic plan that reflects the findings from the above activities. Then contingency planning and scenario planning. What do you mean by this? See, in future, there can be some uncertainties. We don't know about that. So if plan A doesn't work, plan B should at least work. That is what this contingency planning means. It means in future there can be some uncertain events which can happen, and that can have an adverse impact on your business. So you should have a plan B in place to kind of like at least like that kind of response you should have, so that you can control, or you can like save your business from any kind of failure. Okay, and then scenario planning. See, you can put yourself in various scenarios, and you can see how your company is like performing. Let's say if there is a recession, or let's say there's a company and there is a strike, labor strike. So how company can cope up during this time? So why? Because labor strike, in the sense labor are not coming to the company for work, and the production has got, there's a halt in the production. So that point of time, how will you survive? What plan B you have? So you put yourself in such kind of scenarios and see how you can overcome. Then comes the BCG matrix, very important concept, the Boston Consulting Group growth share matrix. And you can see here, there are 4 things here. One is, you can see the matrix is in this form, and this is like market growth rate, okay, and this is relative market share. So how will you interpret this? This is about cash usage, and this is about cash generation, how you use the money and how you make the money, or you generate the money. Okay, this is nothing but you put, and this is nothing but you pull back. That's what we can say. So first of all, you see this star, a product. Let's say we are speaking about a product. Okay, so BCG matrix classifies products into 4 categories based on the growth of the markets they are. And this particular BCG matrix came into existence in 1970s, and this was bought to assist the companies in analyzing the life cycle of their product lines in order to make better decisions about allocation of resources in the planning. So see, if you properly analyze the life cycle of the product, life cycle is nothing but the day when it is produced to the day till it will become a scrap. So I am speaking about from this stage to this stage. So life cycle of their product lines in order to make better decisions about allocation of resources in the planning. That means if you like this particular BCG like matrix is going to assist companies in analyzing the life cycle of the products which they are in, and they can make better decisions about how they have to allocate the resources for the planning process. Okay, so the BCG matrix classifies products into four categories, and based on growth of markets they are in, uh, and their share of those markets. That's what, like, the markets in which the companies are performing, and what kind of share they have in the market. So BCG matrix classifies products into four categories: growth of the markets in which they are and the share of those markets. Okay, so how the market is growing and their share in those markets we are seeing. Okay, let's say Indian market. uh, so Indian market, like how it is growing, by what rate, and how much chunk of Indian market you have. That's what this BCG matrix is all about. The matrix is a 2 by 2 grid. Okay, we can see the matrix right now. Market growth rate and is shown on the vertical left axis. This is the market growth rate, as you can see, and relative market share is displayed along the horizontal top axis. So this is the market share. Okay, so a product's position on the relative market scale, either high or low, indicates its cash generation capability and its position on the market growth scale. So we see how the products have share in the market and how they generate cash. So you see here star. When we see star, star is such a product. I'll just write cash usage, cash generation. Okay, so for star product, the cash usage or its market growth rate, so market growth rate and market relative market share. Okay, so star is such a product whose market growth rate is high and also market share is high. That means this is a product with high cash usage. See, when the market growth rate is good, so what would happen? The usage of cash would be high. Why? Because you'll be buying more and more raw material to make such product, isn't it so? And its market share is also very high. That means that it has captured a major chunk of the market and it is generating good amount of cash for you. So here the usage of cash is more and the generation is more. Market growth is high. Eh, In high growth market, we see this kind of products and also their market share is high. So we can see the points. Star is a product in an industry that has high market growth rate and the product has a high market share and is capable of generating substantial revenue. Robust market growth leads to rapidly growing sales. Of course, as I said, more and more you produce and more you sell, which in turn create a need for working capital. Of course, that is cash usage I'm speaking about, to support the to support the required increases in AR and inventory. See, when the market has a high demand, like for such kind of for some products, and you are in high growth rate market whereby the demand is very high, people always want to buy. So see, before COVID pandemic, people were buying clothes in all seasons. They used to say, no, this is not a festive season, but it's like, winter clothing, summer clothing, we want to buy. And now, are you seeing many people buying like that? No. So when the market is a high growth rate market, and when product has a high market share, then you get a lot of revenues, and a very strong growth market leads to growing sales. And for such high sales, you should have more working capital, or you have high working capital requirements to support the increase in, because you will be selling the goods on credit basis to your customers, to raise more and more sales, and as well as you require more and more inventory. So you want more capital, working capital. So therefore, a star product requires high levels of cash flow investment. So if a star can maintain a high market share when the market growth rate declines, it will become cash cow. So now what is happening is, in case of cash cow, market growth rate is low. That means market is not growing, but the market share is still high for the product. Okay, so market share is high, but the growth rate is less. So if a star can maintain a high market share, as I said, star can maintain a high market share, but the growth rate declines, it becomes a cash cow. So in case of cash cow, the market growth rate is low and the market share is high. So when managed properly, star products can ensure future cash generation. The company may adjust the price of star several times, decreasing it to claim market share and then increasing it to maximize revenue as the product market share and popularity grow. So what company does? Company may adjust the price of star several times. They decrease the prices so that more and more people buy, and with that more market share increases and revenue gets maximized. And as the product's market share and the popularity grow in the market. Okay, then comes the question mark. So you see the question mark, it has a high, from we see from this side, it has a high growth rate but a low market share. Okay, so question mark, high growth rate and low market share, and then we'll go for dog. Okay, so let's see about the question mark, what's happening. So question mark is a product in an industry that has high market growth rate but the product has low market share. So you're understanding the growth rate in the market is very good, but the product is struggling to find market share. It has not captured the a bigger chunk of market like star. So in a rapidly growing market, question mark sales also grow rapidly. So slowly, steadily it will grow. So question mark products consume a great deal of cash for investment, but conversely, the cash generated by the product is low because it's low market share. That's what. So when market growth rate is more, so you put a lot of money, but the output what you want you get low. Okay, that's what they are saying. The cash is the investment what you put is high, but the cash what they give is less. And then comes the dog. So dog is nothing but some product whereby you have low market growth rate and low market share. So star can become a cash cow and question mark and then a dog. So we can see about a dog. So question mark has potential to gain market share. Yeah, question mark can gain market share, of course, and then it can become a star, eventually a cash cow. So you see question mark. Question mark, if it see, question mark is something which has high growth rate but low market share. If this low market share is converted to high market share, then it becomes a star. Okay, and then if I remove this part, high, suppose the market growth rate is low and then the market share becomes high, then this question mark can become a cash cow also. Are you understanding? See, we are just, cash cow is lower market growth rate and high market share. Question mark is high growth rate and low market share. If this becomes low and this becomes high, then it becomes cash cow. Simple. That's what they are saying. So the positions, these particular four products can change their positions accordingly based upon their nature. They can get transformed into different products. Okay, let's go ahead. So cash cow is a product in a mature industry that has low market growth rate but the product has high market share. So we already discussed this one. So cash cows generate more cash than they consume because they are in low market growth rate. Okay, but their market share is very high, so they get a lot of cash. So they are regarded as boring, but any company would be glad to have them because even though the market is not performing well, the share of this product is very high. So like this is the time where we have to milk the cow. That's it. We have to make maximum profits. So cash cow products are fairly stable in terms of features and price. Dog is the worst one. We don't want this dog to happen. Okay, such kind of markets are such kind of market when we see whereby the market rate is, growth rate is less and as well as the market share of the product is less, it's a major concern, and dogs should be sold off. So according to BCG matrix, the natural life cycle for a business unit or a product is a question mark, then star, then cash cow, and then we see it ends like in a dog or dog. We don't want dogdom, actually we always want stardom. Okay, we want high, we want both the things high, not low, on lower side. Let's continue and wind up the chapter. So characteristics of successful strategic plans. So strategic planning should be an ongoing process. It should not be something which is not happening very often. It should happen often. Okay. And a successful strategic plan is integrated throughout the organization. Yes, integration is nothing but the entire organization should be involved in that. It's not like all the departments, marketing department and all the other departments should be involved. Okay, because everywhere like the strategies are prepared for all the activities. So we have to see multi-dimensional growth in all the areas. All of the different areas of business need to be in alignment and operating together. The plan should not focus only on specific areas such as financial results or marketing programs. Instead, it should address the whole company strategy. In developing a strategic plan, all former assumptions should be challenged. Yes, once we should review our previous suggestions, whatever were there, so that we can see what went well for us and what didn't work out good for us, so that we can make some changes. Strategy should be long term in nature. It should be seeing the future, and not for like shouldn't be for a very short span of time. It should be seeing a bigger picture and for a longer period of time. And employees at all levels should have input. Everyone should be aware of what is happening. It should be communicated to everyone. Success of the strategy lies in its execution, and strategic planning process should be viewed as an opportunity to develop a shared vision, increase the sense of joint ownership among the staff, and build a leadership team. So they should all should have a one common mission and goal and a vision, and they should be they should be given opportunity, so that they should think that we are also like someone who are involved in this. So it gives them a sense of joint ownership, and also very important to build a leadership team. Now, benefits of planning and limitations of planning we'll discuss. See, very simply understood, there are a lot of benefits of plan. So objectives are formally expressed and the methods of attaining objectives are clearly defined. The plan focuses employees' attention on company's stated objectives and facilitates the coordination of efforts. Yes, now when the plan is set, everyone works for the successful uh, like uh, uh, for the successful outcome, determination of the plan. So that outcome, whatever we expect or we want, should be successfully achieved. That's what we everyone works for. So if the plans are communicated properly throughout the organization, employees may feel more motivated to take part in carrying them out. When planning is done in advance, risk and uncertainty can be minimized. Backup plans can be prepared. This is very important point. Of course, if you plan in advance, you can definitely reduce the risk and uncertainty. Backup plans can be prepared and decisions can be made in a measured, disciplined manner rather than spontaneously. Okay, on spot decisions you should make. Already I have given the introduction chapter. I have explained like on spot, if you take decisions, how you can how it can be a disastrous thing. So planning can improve a company's competitive advantage. Company can plan ahead and find the best prices for resources. So if you plan and if you buy things, you get it cheaper rates and good deal, and you reduce the cost and it increases your profitability. Planning helps the company to efficiently effect changes in its procedures, product line, and facilities. Planning provides objectives against which actual performance can be measured. Yeah, see, you make a plan, and that is a budget, let's say, and you see in actuality what you are spending and on how much you are spending. So you can compare this to and you can do the variance analysis. That means if you have budgeted that something should happen for 10,000, and if it has gone to 12,000, then you should again see what changes you can make, so that you can bring it to this figure. Okay, or you can try to minimize your cost. And last and final limitations. See, it's a time consuming and costly process. A lot of confusion can happen when a lot of managers are involved, and it should not be too rigid at times. Okay, and because it can bring new threats, and planning is based on forecast that may be inaccurate, of course, and inaccurate forecast can lead to a faulty plan, and that can have a adverse impact on the work process. Okay, that's all. So we will do budgeting concepts tomorrow. We'll start from here. Just a second. This one I'll wind up by tomorrow. Yeah, this chapter we can wind up tomorrow itself. Then comes the, yeah, we can target this chapter. Okay. Okay, sir. No, then tomorrow 5:30 again I'll be ready for the class. Fine. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
sir. I'll be ready for the class at 5:30. Thank you so much.